Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and do some more turkey patterning, and today we've got a combo that one of you guys requested for us to test, and I think it's going to be a pretty decent performing combination. Even though these chokes are a little bit more designed to be a do-all between turkey and waterfowl and buckshot, we've seen a number of very nice, plenty capable turkey patterns from them as well, so we definitely know that we've got a good choke combo, but for whatever reason, we have never tested these particular shells through them. I quite honestly don't know why, but we're going to find out what they can do today, since it should be a pretty decent performing combination. But first up, for the shells that we're running, I brought out some more of the Winchester Longbeard XR loads. These ones are the 12 gauge, 3-inch, 1 3/4 ounce payload of 5s at about 1200 feet per second. We know what these can do. When it comes to lead loads, these are still probably the kings out there on the market, especially for on the store shelf. They're nasty performers through just about any halfway decent choke you run them in, but to be fair, we've never tested them in today's choke yet. But as for the setup that we're running them in, I brought out my Mossberg 835 Ulti-Mag. It's got a 28-inch barrel on it, and we're going to be running the Patternmaster Black Mamba. It's a 690 constriction, and it does have their coil zone gas over constriction technology stuff. The spirals that we see on the outside are also on the inside of the choke, and it's supposed to let gases kind of escape to the sides of the wad and help constrict the whole shot column down a little bit as well. This is Patternmaster's kind of do-all choke, like I mentioned a minute ago. You can run turkey loads, you can run steel waterfowl stuff, you can run buckshot. We've seen good performances through all of those different variations of shell, but for some reason we've never tested any longbeard turkey loads through one of these yet, although I think it should be a pretty decent performer, but we don't know what's going to happen until we try it. Maybe something way out of the ordinary happens and that gas over constriction stuff just completely ruins our longbeard pattern. We don't know what's going to happen until we try it, technically anyway. But as for today's test, we're running everything the same as usual. I've got the turkey target set up at 40 yards and the chrono to get our velocity. So let's get you guys a view of that target and see what the Longbeard 5s can do through one of these Black Mamba 690s. Okay, that shell gave us 1302 through the chrono. We have a boss claim of 1200, but typically with these longbeards that are the little bit higher velocity claim, we're seeing upper 1200s or so from them on average. So right at 1300, definitely not out of the ballpark, and obviously that's plenty enough velocity for a lead 5. But did we actually get a good pattern or not through that Black Mamba down there at 40? Let's check it out and see. Alright, so here we are down at our 40-yard paper, and sure enough, we absolutely see a dead turkey, no question about it. His head and neck is covered in pellets, so yeah, absolutely hammered at 40 yards. Pretty decent coverage there throughout most of the turkey paper. That's plenty capable to 40. You could probably push that to 45 as well, and probably even 50 realistically speaking, and still do the job. But looking at the entire pattern here, it is absolutely turkey capable, no doubt about it. But I think we can tell that that Black Mamba isn't technically quote-unquote a dedicated turkey choke necessarily. Obviously this is still a plenty capable pattern like I just said, but this is a little bit more intended to be a do-all choke where you can run waterfowl stuff and buckshot and stuff like that through it as well. It does well across the board in our testing, but for what we know the longbeard shells can do in a tighter or more dedicated turkey choke, we're probably 80-85% of the way there. This obviously doesn't mean it's a bad pattern by any means, because it absolutely would do the job, but it may not be as tight, as condensed, or quite as evenly spread as what we could get with a turkey choke. There are several little thin spots within here as well, kind of up towards the top right of that turkey target, right out in front of that bird's neck, right there in the center of the screen, there's a little thin stripe there, and down there towards the bottom, there's a pretty good hole down there at the bottom left corner of that turkey target, so it is not 100% even. We definitely have our few little strings and flyers and stuff around the edges as well, including up here towards the top. There's one way over there in the top right. So maybe not the perfect Longbeard XR pattern, but plenty capable. And for somebody that might want a little bit more breathing room, that might not be a terrible option, because we know those Longbeard shells can actually condense themselves down to a much tighter pattern than what that gave us. And for somebody that might want to buy one choke and do multiple things with it, these Black Mambas are a perfect perfectly fine option for that as well. Obviously, we've got a dead turkey here. You can turkey hunt with that combo all day long. So looks pretty decent for what it is, just with the turkey target up. But let's pull the turkey target down out of our way. I'll finish drawing some circles and counting some pellets, and we'll really get a good idea on how this pattern performed, because it may look a touch better with that turkey target out of the way, or at least maybe a touch more consistent. So let's get it out of our way and see how it actually performed then as far as numbers go. Okay, now we've got our target out of the way, and we can kind of see what we were looking at earlier as well. Obviously, that is a plenty capable turkey pattern. Not too bad overall, and I would absolutely hunt with it. But we can definitely also tell that, yet again, like I mentioned earlier, it might not be a quote-unquote dedicated turkey choke, even though it performs plenty well enough. Inside of our 10-inch circle there in the middle, we have 116 total pellets. Plenty good enough coverage, but it might have a few little thin areas mixed in there as well, here and there, but not too bad. Outside of that, with our 20-inch leeway circle, we pick up an additional 145 pellets. You can definitely start to see there where it gets a little splotchy. You'll have a hotter zone with a few more pellets down there towards the bottom, and then it'll get thin up here towards the top right with another little hot patch up there and a thin spot on the left. So good enough coverage for sure, but not the most even pattern we've ever seen. And we definitely have our fair share of stuff around the edges as well that didn't condense down with the rest. So that overall kind of confirms what we were looking at earlier when we actually had our turkey target up there. So as for this combination, it's perfectly fine. I would absolutely run it if it's what I had, but we can also tell that it's not a dedicated turkey choke. We know what these longbeards can do. Typically, we are really condensed down. Almost everything is within that 20-inch ring, and usually we're getting 160 to 180 pellets within that 10-inch core area. So quite a big difference there from this choke to an actual turkey choke, but there wouldn't be anything wrong with wanting to run that out in the turkey woods neither. A turkey is never going to make it through that kind of pattern, and it still will give you a little bit more yardage leeway room as well if you misjudged your range or something like that. So 40 yards is definitely not the limit with this combo. Overall, maybe we could have seen a little more even of a spread or a little more condensed of a spread ideally, but I'm not entirely too surprised neither. Usually when we've ran other turkey shells through one of these Black Mambas, we see a perfectly adequate pattern, but that trend still continues to where we can tell that it may not be quite the constriction and stuff we get out of a turkey choke. So nothing too surprising here. It's probably about what I expected to see, and it would certainly do the job if that's the combo you wanted to run. And here's the wad from that shell. Typical Longbeard XR stuff here. No major damage or anything I'm concerned with. That gas over constriction definitely didn't play with our wad too much as far as damage goes or anything like that. So nothing I'm concerned with here. Looks very much normal overall. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that performance right there? I think we pretty well covered it. It's a perfectly fine turkey hunting pattern. I definitely wouldn't hesitate to run it. If that's the combo I had or wanted to use, it would certainly do the job just fine. But if we were to run that choke head to head with a dedicated turkey specific choke, it would probably get beat out. We know what these longbeards are capable of. We know we can condense it down into those really nice tight basketball looking spreads. And this isn't quite there. Technically in the 835, 690 is very much so a turkey choke constriction, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still not overly tight, and it's a little bit different design as well with that gas over constriction stuff. So really, it probably isn't too surprising. It's designed to be a little bit of a do-all choke, and usually it does pretty well with just about anything you put through it. Steel waterfowl stuff and buckshot included. So when it comes to turkey patterns, that's probably pretty realistic, and it's clearly good enough to do the job, no doubt about it. So if you're somebody that wants a little more leeway in their pattern, or maybe wants to get one choke and do several things with it, that could be a perfectly viable option for you for sure. But leave all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested one of these combos with a Black Mamba choke and something like the Longbeard XR turkey loads? And if so, what kind of results have you seen? Is that a pattern or a performance or a combo you would actually hunt with? Or would you prefer to see it a little more condensed down? Or is that exactly about what you're looking to see if you're running a combination like that? And maybe what other shells do you want to see us put through that Black Mamba? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, you have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it. But I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.